it is an interesting sign of how the United Kingdom is shaping its own foreign affairs role after Brexit. Boris jumping on a plane and going to these two places that have crucial decisions to take, and they are risky decisions. Becoming a NATO member, if they decide in favor of that, takes about a year or so. And obviously, this is an absolute red flag to the bull, to Mr. Putin. This is exactly the opposite of what he wanted to achieve when he invaded the Ukraine. So these two states are wondering what will happen to their security in that year before they are NATO members. And for the Prime Minister to fly out and be the one to offer the reassurances is quite interesting to see.
Forgive me for jumping in, but I mean, the Defence Secretary made that very clear the other day, didn't he? And he said it has always been the case that although Finland, or for example, is not a member of NATO, the UK and indeed NATO as a whole would always step up to support them.
Yes, but someone needs to go there, and I think made that point. In these concrete circumstances, they are not yet a member of NATO. If they decide to do it, there will be about a year of ambivalence. And they do have, on the other hand, the EU. And the EU actually itself contains a collective defense clause, which would ensure that other members of the EU have to assist. But of course, the UK is no longer a member. On the other hand, the UK is a nuclear power, has close relations to the US, and therefore I think it is an interesting sign that it is the British Prime Minister who comes over on the weekend, or rather a few days before the weekend when people say they might take decisions on NATO, to offer them reassurances. There may also be defense agreements and other items to be agreed at that time. And it is quite a momentous and risky decision for the rest of Europe for this to happen, because it does sort of tighten the noose a little bit around Russia. This sense that the Russians, that President Putin has had, that he is being surrounded by NATO, although not really true, is now likely to be reinforced should the two states join NATO. The northern flank will be significantly stronger.
Yeah, how justified do you think, then, that Finland and Sweden should be concerned about Putin? I mean, they'll be looking to Ukraine, but as you say, their situation different, even though there are historical events where there have been invasions, certainly into Finland. It's a tiny chance that Putin would do that. How worried should they be?
I think they will be somewhat nervous. Obviously, they have now seen that war is possible in Europe, which few of us would have believed or expected. And certainly for the Swedes, it is a departure from a policy that has served them very well since the Congress of Vienna in 1815. Around 1814, they started with a policy of neutrality after having been a very active participant in European wars, and they've done very well. So it is a major change in strategic culture. Russia will respond in a perhaps slightly erratic way, presumably not forcibly, but still these reassurances are important. And as I say, it's interesting that it is the British government that leads the way in offering them.